Hi there, welcome back to Theology Savage. Wanted to do a follow-up post from yesterday on Psalm 34. We referred to a few verses from the book of Hebrews, and I wanted to read a couple of those verses about Christ's high priestly work. In chapter 2, we read there in verse 17, it says, "Therefore he had to be made like his brothers in every respect, so that he might become a merciful and faithful high priest in the service of God, to make propitiation for the sins of the people. For because he himself has suffered when tempted, he is able to help those who are being tempted." And really one overarching theme from that passage is the emphasis on Christ's true and full humanity. Of course, he's the eternal Son of God who takes to himself a human nature. He becomes truly human, like us in every way. Body, soul, thinking, intellect, will, affections, the whole nine, truly human in every way. And it says that he had to be made like his brothers in every respect, except for, of course, sin. And the two things that are focused on here as it relates to his true humanity and the incarnation is his propitiation. He makes propitiation for sins. He bears the justice of God. He is that sin offering sacrifice that placates the wrath of God, the condemnation of God that sinners deserve. But the second aspect really is what I think is the point there in Psalm 34 that I was emphasizing. The other reason he had to be made like us in every way, it says, "For because he himself has suffered when tempted, he is able to help those who are being tempted." Now, so often when we think of temptation, we think merely of being tempted to sin and do something, a sin of commission, acting in a certain way that dishonors God, violates his law, that goes against his commandments to love others or love ourselves or love him. When I think one of the main ways we are tempted, I think primarily, preeminently, is to distrust God. And that's why that verse in Psalm 34 was so helpful. "I sought the Lord and he heard me, he delivered me from all my fears," was that the psalmist wasn't trusting in himself when he was afraid. He wasn't turning to himself, but he was turning to the Lord. And we know here in the New Covenant that the Lord that we turn to is one who has gone through the ringer for us and came out on the other side, not unscathed, but faithful for us, and one who we read is able to help those who are being tempted. And primarily our primary temptation, preeminent temptation, is to distrust God. And God's worthy of our trust. He's faithful. He's good. He never fails. Our heart and flesh may fail, the psalmist says in Psalm 73, I think, but you are the strength of my heart and my portion forever. And we know that truly, maybe not exhaustively, but truly, because of how God is for us in the gospel. Be blessed.